One of the suspects in their son's murder case walked free today. Their son, Matthew Guerra, and his pregnant girlfriend, Savannah Soto, were killed back in 2023.
And the woman charged in that case, Mirta Romanos, had her charge dismissed today. And the night team's Avery Everett was there as she left the jail. So, Avery, tell us about that moment.
Well, we tried to ask Mirta Romanos questions, but she chose to stay silent. Remember, she spent the last 2 years inside of the Bexar County Jail. She was accused of trying to help her son, Christopher Preciado, cover up the murders for Savannah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and their unborn child. But tonight, Romanos is a free woman, and the Guerra family says they're shocked to hear that news.
Instead of our family being together for the holidays, it's going to be their murderers that are going to be together for the holidays.
This heartbroken family is trying to hold on to what they can. This age-progressed photo shows what Matthew Guerra, Savannah Soto, and their unborn child would have looked like if they were not murdered 2 years ago.
It's been a long time. And justice hasn't been served yet. 3
suspects were arrested in connection to the 2023 triple murder. Christopher Preciado, his father Ramon Preciado, and his mother Mirta Romanos.
Last 2 years been. How does it feel to be released from jail?
On Wednesday, Romanos walked free.
How did you hear about the charges being dismissed today?
Facebook.
I don't have good grounds for continuance.
The Bexar County District Attorney's Office dismissed these charges on the same day jury selection for Romanos' trial was set to begin. The judge denied a request from the DA's office to reset this case, so prosecutors turned in paperwork citing the need for further investigation. Romanos was charged with 2 different counts of tampering with evidence and 1 charge of abuse of a human corpse.
Are you happy with how the DA's office has handled this case so far?
I mean, as far as communication-wise, absolutely not. I felt like we should have been notified from the DA's office to better prep ourselves. You know, this is how we found out Ramon was getting out.
You've been away for more than a year. Anything that you want to say?
I was also there when Ramon Preciado was let out on bond in February. He still faces charges of abuse of a human corpse and tampering with physical evidence. Their son, Christopher Preciado, is still in jail, facing multiple charges, including capital murder.
We're ready for some closure and for some justice to be handed down.
For the Guerra family, every delay feels like another setback, but they say that won't stop them from fighting for justice.
We're just going to continue to fight for justice for them and just keep their name alive.
The Guerra family says they were told by the DA's office that charges might be looked at again for Romanos after Christopher's trial. That trial is expected to start early next year. Reporting live, I'm Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Meanwhile, the Spurs and their supporters notched a win last night. Not on the court, though. 52% of Bexar County voters approved the use of a venue tax to help fund a new arena for the team downtown at Hemisphere.
But don't hang the Frostbank Center's jersey in the rafters.
From KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Okay, a message. If you're planning to fly this morning, expect delays across the country, plus a live look at San Antonio's airport next at 5.
The punishment doesn't fit the crime. It's too lenient. It's not harsh enough.
Plus, we have a mother's plea to end deaths on the roads after her daughter's tragic death. And we're going to tell you also how TxDOT is campaigning to avoid these types of tragedies.
And a suspect in a pregnant woman's murder case just walked free. You see her right there. Now the family is speaking out why they say justice has failed.
And a good Friday morning to everyone out there. It is November 7th. Good morning to everyone. I'm RJ Marquez.
Thank you for starting your morning with us. I'm Patty Santos. We're getting you ready for today and all your weekend activities.
Horse Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of going on this weekend.
So let's go ahead and send things over to our weather authority meteorologist, Justin Horn, for a check of everything related to what we're going to see out there. Justin, how are we looking?
Well, you know, it is a busy weekend. There is, it's this time of year where we get a lot of events over the weekend, and I will warn you, there will be some big changes Saturday into Sunday. Let's first start with some superlatives, though. San Antonio and South Texas in general is going to be the hottest place in the country today, we think. Temperatures are going to close in on 90 degrees, which would be a record, mind you. Tomorrow will be warm too, but Sunday is the day. Sunday, a cold front comes through. It'll be very windy, much cooler, and we'll see lows in the 30s by Monday and Tuesday. So there's a lot to see here over the next 72 hours or so, at least with regard to those temperatures and those gusty winds as well. Here's a look at the high temperatures today. I think we'll be right around 90 here in San Antonio. Again, that would be record levels. 90 Castroville, 90 in Divine, 89 in Bandera today. No matter where you go, it's going to be warm. Right now we're at 63, 59 in New Braunfels, 63 in Converse, and we've got light winds and clear skies. Do need to talk about the fire danger, and this is something we're going to really dig into here coming up in about 15 minutes or so. And we'll talk about why very gusty winds are going to lead to this extreme fire danger. But for now, let's get over to your traffic authority, RJ Marquez. What are you seeing out there?
All right, thank you very much, Justin. So as we start you out with your Friday morning commute, let's get you updated on the situation here. 35 at Schertz Parkway, where we're seeing a little bit of delays here for all of our folks making their way in the southbound lanes of 35 from Selma all the way up to Roy Richard Drive. So we'll continue to keep an eye on everything going on here. Evans Road, we're looking at about a 5 to 10 minute delay. You see that traffic is slowly moving through the southbound lanes of 35, but no major incidents or accidents out there right now. That's basically the case across the city of San Antonio at the moment. Still dealing with some delays over by 1604, but of course we will get you updated on everything that you need to know to make sure that we get you out safe outside the door on this Friday morning.
Okay, so this morning, if you're flying out of town for the weekend, you might see some trouble in the sky.
That's right. The government shutdown is causing delays at airports across the country, and your connecting flights could also be affected as well starting today.
Yeah, Devin Carp is live this morning at the San Antonio International Airport right now. Devin, good morning. What are you guys seeing out there?
Hey, good morning, Patty. So far, I'm seeing pretty busy early here for 5 a.m. on a Friday morning. And while you might have seen videos online of wait lines hours long at different airports, hopefully that's not something we're going to see here at the San Antonio International Airport. But that might not stay the same throughout the day as we see other airports around the country. If we go ahead and take a look now, we're going to show you some live looks at 2 different airports we have right now. The first one you're going to be looking at is the San Francisco International Airport. That is going to be affected by some of these flight delays. The second one you're going to be looking at is over in Atlanta. This is the Jackson Hartfield Atlanta International Airport, and these flight delays are happening across the country, especially at some big terminal hubs like Atlanta, where a lot of connecting flights take place. So the Federal Aviation Administration is forcing airlines at 40 of the busiest airports to cut 10% of their flights here in order to ease pressure on air traffic controllers who have been working throughout the government shutdown. Airports around the country have reported long delays that could be hours long with the TSA. The San Antonio Airport has only seen wait times so far about 10 to 15 minutes. The cancellations will hit other airports in Texas, like the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, Dallas Love Field, George Bush Intercontinental in Houston, and the Hobby Airport in Houston. Travelers we've spoken with so far say that it's something that's made them reconsider traveling plans altogether.
I dealt with a delay on my way here because of the government shutdowns and that, and if it wasn't for a work trip, I probably wouldn't have come.
In a statement released to us, the San Antonio Airport said that while we are grateful that the San Antonio International Airport is not among the airports identified by the Federal Aviation Administration, it is possible that travelers may be impacted by reductions in service at other airports. Right now on KSAT.com, we've got a full list of those 40 airports that are going to be affected. Airlines recommend one of the best things you can do before you head to the airport is check in with your individual airline. I'm talking United, Southwest, any of the other ones, to make sure about the exact status of your flight to make sure you can get to your destination as easy and painless as possible. For now, I'll send it back to y'all live at the San Antonio International Airport. I'm Devin Carp, KSAT 12 News.
Okay, thank you very much, Devin. 5:05 this morning. Well, this is a sobering stat. Every single day for the past 25 years, a mom, dad, son, or daughter has died in a crash across the state of Texas. November 7th, 2000. That was the last deathless day in the state, and that's why TxDOT launched its End the Street campaign to try and end deaths on our Texas roads. And one of those victims, unfortunately, includes a beloved local daughter, friend, nurse, and educator. Whitney Presas Widell died in February of 2024 in a crash that Bexar County deputies said involved a drunk driver. I sat down with her mom, who is raising awareness about this campaign and keeping her daughter's memory alive.
I have a hole in my heart now that she's not here, that she's gone too soon, and she didn't need to leave the way she did.
It's never easy for Monique Presas to discuss her daughter's death, but she does so because of the strength and spirit Whitney showed every day of her life.
She was a traveler, a nurse, she was a teacher, an educator, and she loved life.
Whitney's life was cut short on the morning of February 8th. She was driving to work up Potranco Road when she was hit head-on by a driver who Bexar County deputies said was drunk.
They tried to save her, but her injuries were just too severe. Ever since then, you're just not the same person anymore. I miss her dearly.
Monique is carrying her daughter's love for life by spreading awareness about drunk driving and taking part in TxDOT's End the Street campaign.
I want to do it just to share about her life and how unnecessary it was that she's not here. The punishment doesn't fit the crime. It's too lenient. It's not harsh enough.
What do you think your daughter would think about what you're doing right now?
I think she would be proud of me, and she would expect for me to be strong. I want to share her story so that hopefully this doesn't keep happening.
And that's exactly what we did. Shared stories about their travels, family life, and Whitney's accomplishments.
She went to East Central and started teaching nursing in their CNA program. And she also taught professional nursing at UIW. And then her last job that she had, Idea School Systems hired her to write their first ever nursing curriculum.
What would be the message that you have for other families?
There's a lot of opportunities to get home safely. You don't have to drive drunk. She was an amazing daughter, very caring, very thoughtful, very kind-hearted, and she's my best friend.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News. All right, and again, thank you very much to Monique for sharing that story. The End the Street campaign marks 25 years today. Last year, 4,160 people died in Texas traffic crashes. And here at home, there were 171 deaths, which is why TxDOT wants to spread awareness about safety and sharing responsibilities on the roads.
All right, let's get you caught up on the trial of 3 former San Antonio officers. Now on day 20th, the officers are accused in the 2023 shooting of Melissa Perez. The defense called 2 forensic experts to the stand. First, a 3D forensic specialist showed a new recreation of the scene, suggesting that Perez was closer to the officers than the original report said. Later, a criminologist testified that the officers' actions were justified. If convicted, these officers could face life in prison. And we are streaming this trial right now. Testimony is expected to continue later this morning. You can watch it live on all of our streaming platforms.
Heartbreak and frustration from a family who says that the justice system has failed them.
Yeah, we are now hearing from the family of Savannah Soto, a pregnant woman who was murdered in 2023 after one of the suspects arrested in her case walked free this week.
That's right. We were the first to report on Wednesday that the Bexar County District Attorney's Office dismissed charges for Mirta Romanos. She was accused of helping cover up the murders of Soto and Matthew Guerra and their unborn child. Romanos was charged with 2 different counts of tampering with evidence and 1 charge of abuse of a human corpse. Now, the Soto family says that they were blindsided by the charges being dismissed, and they're worried what might happen to the other 2 people charged in this case.
What are we looking at here when Christopher does go to trial? You know, are they going to let him go out, or are they going to give him less time, or what? We don't know.
And Romano's husband, Ramon Preciado, and son, Christopher Preciado, were also charged in connection to this case. Romano is out on bond but faces 2 charges of abuse of a human corpse and tampering with physical evidence. Christopher is still in jail and faces multiple charges, including capital murder.
Okay, let's give you a look at some of your morning headlines. Last night in Louisville, Kentucky, families, friends gathering to remember the victims of Tuesday's deadly UPS plane crash. 13 people have died so far, including a grandfather and a 3-year-old granddaughter, his granddaughter, who were nearby when it all happened. Several others are still missing, and investigators are digging through wreckage to find out what exactly went wrong. Okay, a story that rocked the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys here. 24-year-old defensive end Marshawn Nealon died Thursday after police in North Texas found him following a chase. He was open about his mental health struggles, especially after losing his mother last year. Now his teams and friends are paying tribute, shining a light on the pressures even young stars face. If you or someone you know is struggling, the National Suicide Lifeline is available at 988. Justin.
Thanks, sir. It is 5:11, 63 degrees. We go outside with live cam. It's a clear morning. Temperatures will start off in the 60s as you head to the bus stop. We'll see a high temperature near 90. It will be very warm. Of course, those big changes arrive this weekend. We'll go through it hour by hour coming up.
All right, time right now, 5:11. Meet some of the members of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Canine Team, mostly female dogs, by the way, trained to find missing people and protect wildlife. An exclusive look at how they do it.
Plus, tomorrow is the Veterans Day Parade, but it's going to look a little bit different this year. We're going to tell you what's going to be missing and what's new this year coming up after the break.
The show must go on. San Antonio, get ready for the 2025 Veterans Day Parade this Saturday, but there's going to be a few missing service members there. We're told active Army and Navy, which is a big part of the parade, had to cancel this year due to the government shutdown. That's about 50 troops that will not be there. But listen to this. New this year, the inaugural Veterans 5K run. The run starts at 10:30 a.m. and runs the same route that the parade does. There's a fee to run in person or virtually. You're going to get a medal and a t-shirt. And there are about 90 entries this year. That includes high school bands, floats, equestrian groups, and VFW organizations. Veterans say it brings a lot of joy and pride to see Military City, USA come out and cheer them on from the sideline.
So for us, we all remember that very first day when we all went to boot camp, did our military service, got out, and just the immense amount of pride that we have, and that I like to share with other service members. I happen to be in the Marine Corps, and this year, along with the Navy and the Army, it's our 250th birthday. That is exciting. It's fun.
And the parade starts at noon at Milan Park. It will go down Houston Street, turn on Jefferson to Veterans Memorial Plaza. Take a blanket, a folding chair, and you can head to KSAT.com for information on times and parade route. This morning, we're learning about the work being done by 9 canines spread across the state as part of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Team. The team meets quarterly around the state to train on search and rescue, recovery, and detection. We got a chance to meet up with them last week in McCoy. And listen to this, 8 out of the 9 dogs are females. Game warden handlers find that they are more focused, mature, and quicker to train. The department also picks Labradors because they are friendly and less intimidating to the missing child or person. Now, some of them are also trained to look for red snapper, oyster, trout, sharkfin, doves, and ducks. Sometimes the dog's ability even surprised their own handlers.
We helped another agency look for a murder weapon, and it had gone missing. It had been buried, and we had about a 2-acre search area. Rural area, creek, high grass, things like that. She was able to locate and identify that missing weapon that was buried about 6 to 8 inches deep.
And the training helps the dogs stay sharp and socializes them to work with each other. Coming up at 6 on GMSA, we're going to put that nose to the test and see how quickly they can find me hiding in the woods.
All right, thank you very much, Patty. 518 right now. Yes, those dogs are pretty impressive. Okay, let's get you out on the roads right now with your traffic at 30. 35 is going to be our biggest cause for concern at the moment. We're seeing delays in a couple of spots. This is going to be right here at Weidner Road for all of our folks making their way down from parts of Judson, Topper, Wine, O'Connor area. You're going to run into a little bit of slowdown here. About a 10-minute delay for all of our folks making their way past Weidner Road, headed over to Thousand Oaks if you are headed down to 410 and 35. A little bit further out the road here. This is going to be be on the far northeast side of town. 35, again, southbound traffic over by Schertz Parkway and also Evans Road. Seeing about a 10-minute delay here as well for all of our folks making their way on FM 3009 and Roy Richard Drive. We'll continue to track the latest out there. And coming up also, we're going to be giving you kind of a look at Worstfest over in New Braunfels. We're going to be talking about that traffic situation in just a little bit. But let's go now to our weather authority, meteorologist Justin Horn, for a check of the forecast. How are we looking out there, Justin?
Well, as I said off the top of the show, RJ, I think South Texas will be the hottest place in the country today. Wrap your mind around that. We're thinking upper 80s, close to 90, which would be record territory. And I know you're thinking, man, we already had a hot fall so far. Can't we get some cool weather? It is coming, but we've got to wait till Sunday for that to happen. You see some of the colder air starting to move in across parts of North Dakota and Minnesota. That is the cold air that will eventually work its way down into our neck of the woods. So yes, record heat likely today. The forecast high is 89. The record is 88, set back in 2005. So I think that's in real jeopardy. Outside right now, we've got clear skies, 63, 59 in New Braunfels, 63 Converse, 59 in Bernie. And the forecast for today, again, takes us into the upper 80s. All right, let's look at Canada now. We looked at this yesterday. The temperatures are a little bit warmer, but still cold. 1, 3, 5, 16. So this is the cold air that is poised to move down into the United States. We see that chunk of cold air moving south. Now, we get a glancing blow. This is Tuesday morning. You see a lot of that cold air is already starting to shift east, and we've got high pressure moving in. So yes, it will be cold Monday and Tuesday morning, but this is sort of a short-lived cold air mass because by the middle part of next week, we'll be warm once again. So we don't get the brunt of the cold air. But you look at the highs on Monday, and you're talking 30s and 40s in places like Chicago, Detroit, Louisville, 42 in Nashville. And yes, we will be cool, 50s and 60s, just not as cold as where that main chunk of cold air will be across the country. All right, wind gusts Sunday, and this is going to be important, and I want everyone to make sure you're fully aware that by Sunday morning, we're going to get gusts 40 to 45 miles per hour. That's enough to blow things around, your trash can, whatever you have outside. Know that things are going to be howling Sunday morning. Winds will take a while to subside, but I think by Sunday night, you'll see much less in the way of wind. The problem with this is we'll see very low humidity Sunday. You combine that with those gusty winds, and the fire danger forecast is very high to extreme. This red color here is extreme. That's the worst of the worst. We've already had one day similar to this, but the bottom line is if we get a grass fire to develop, it will spread very quickly. So we got to be oh so careful. All right, hot tomorrow, and then Sunday is the big change. 67, windy. We're down to 37 Monday morning. 37 Tuesday morning. We are not expecting a freeze here in San Antonio, but parts of the hill country and outlying areas certainly could get there. And then, as I said, it warms back up by the middle part of next week. All right, our Just Ask Justin question today. Our Spurs have lost 2 in a row, but I have a good feeling we're going to win tonight. I want to know, what's the most wins the San Antonio Spurs have ever had in a regular season? Ooh. Is it 57, 63, 67, or 72? You can vote, KSAT.com/poll, scan the QR code, and I know RJ already knows this answer.
But now when I look to you for some clues.
Patty's got this, for sure.
Patty.
6, 7.
It's a slam dunk.
I don't know. I'm going with that.
Nice. Wow. I see what you did there.
All right. Hey there. Good morning, San Antonio. Time right now, 5:22.
All right. Yes, video game fans are going to have to wait a little bit longer for the next Grand Theft Auto game. This and all of your latest tech headlines coming up in just a bit.
In today's Tech Bites, another Grand Theft Auto delay. Version 6 of the popular video game was originally supposed to come out late this year before being delayed until May of next year. Well, yesterday, Rockstar Games moved the release date to November 2026, saying the game needs fine-tuning. Next, the New York Times is offering Wordle fans a chance to create their own word puzzle. They can be 4 to 7 letters long and can even include a clue, but only All Access and Game subscribers can participate. The custom puzzles can be sent to friends and family. And Amazon now has a new AI tool which can automatically translate entire books into other languages. Kindle Translate is being billed as a resource for authors who self-publish. Right now, it can translate books in English to either Spanish or German, with others on the way. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Sophie Flay. Have a great day.
All right, 5:26 right now. We're looking at 63 degrees to start your Friday morning.
San Antonio faces a deadline to remove the Rainbow Crosswalk or risk losing TxDOT funding. The city wants an exemption. Will they get it? We're going to tell you what's next. Hi there, good morning, San Antonio. It is Friday, November the 7th.
All right, we're getting ready for what should be a lot of events taking place this weekend. We were talking about Worst Fest out there in New Braunfels. Excited about that, but you mentioned the Veterans Day events taking place as well.
Yeah, that's happening tomorrow as well. It's always a nice event, and it's always nice to be outside.
It is, and I think depending on what kind of weather you prefer will dictate whether you do these events on Saturday or Sunday. Of course, if the parade's tomorrow, it should be just fine. It's just will be a little bit warm. Sunday is going to be a very windy day, so if you're going to Worst Fest on Sunday, just know that you're going to get some gusts close to 40 miles per hour, but it will be cooler, so maybe if you like cooler weather, Sunday is the day for you. Sunrise this morning, 6:52. Sunset is at 5:43. Our days just keep shrinking, but that sun will be up here in about an hour and a half or so. And forecast for today, 61 at 7 o'clock, 68 at 9 a.m. It's not overly cool this morning. 83 at noontime, and it will be blazing hot this afternoon, at least by November standards. This would be a record, by the way, if we get there. The old record is 88, set back in 2005. So in theory, we will be at record levels today, which means our football games tonight will be rather warm too. Judson takes on Clemens, one of several high-impact games tonight. Lindhoff Stadium, of course, up there in the Schertz-Cibolo area. Judson is at 3-6, taking on Clemens at 4-5. But 75 at kickoff, 70 at halftime, 68 for the drive home. Should be a good football game. Coming up, again, we'll talk about that temperature shift that we are expecting Saturday night into Sunday morning, RJ. But tell us what's going on the roads, your traffic authority. What's the latest?
All right, thank you very much for that, Justin. So we've been talking a lot about Worst Fest. Here we go. We are starting things out with some opening ceremonies taking place today. So if you're going to be in the New Braunfels area, just another reminder, Landa Park Drive. That's where Landa Park, that's where all the events are going to be taking place. Expect busier traffic around Loop 337, Landa Street. That's that main street that kind of runs through the park. We also have North Walnut Avenue and San Antonio streets. Those are those two intersecting streets right here, a little bit south of where we're going to see Landon Park. Opening ceremonies, 5:30, but the gates open at 4 o'clock. Again, Worst Fest is back, y'all. One of the great events in our area, especially out there in New Braunfels. 35 at Schertz Parkway. Check this out. Traffic actually looking pretty good for our folks on the far northeast side of town. Have cleared out some overnight construction. So some good news out there for many of our drivers on the northeast side of town. And we'll continue to get you updated in the downtown area and northwest side coming up in just a little bit.
Overnight, a family in the southwest side lost their home to a fire. San Antonio Fire Department says they rushed to a trailer home that was fully on fire, along with a motorhome next to it. The fire was caused because of a candle burning in the back of the house. The residents went to visit a neighbor and came back to find the home engulfed in flames. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the damage was total loss to that home. All right, this morning, if you're flying out of town for the weekend, you might see some trouble in the sky.
That's right. So we've been kind of following this, tracking it, if you will. Starting today, flights across the country will be canceled in the wake of the ongoing government shutdown, hitting 10% of them at the 40 busiest, or 40 of the nation's busiest airports out there.
Our Devin Karp is live over at the San Antonio airport this morning to see what are people worried about locally, Devin?
Yeah, Patty, over there at Terminal B, which we just checked out in the 5 a.m. hit, the line was doing pretty good. Over here at Terminal A, there's actually a sign that says so far it's only about 15 minutes. And while the San Antonio International Airport says it's not affected by some of these cancellations, it may not be the same for other airports around the country. We're going to give you some live looks at some of those, starting with the San Francisco Airport, one of the airports affected by these cancellations. And the other one over there is going to be the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport. That is also a big hub for a lot of connecting flights. Starting today, the Federal Aviation Administration is forcing airlines at the 40th of the busiest airports in the country to cut 10% of their flights in order to ease pressure on air traffic controllers who have been working through the shutdown and airports around the country had reported long delays that could be hours long, including some in Houston. The San Antonio airport has only seen wait times for about 10 to 15 minutes so far. The cancellations will hit other big airports in Texas, like the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, Dallas Love Field, George Bush Intercontinental in Houston, and the Hobby Airport in Houston. Travelers we've spoken with so far say that it's something that's made them reconsider traveling plans altogether.
You know, I was thinking to visit my parents in Detroit, you know, and I'm avoided. No, I don't want to spend 3 days or something like this, you know.
In a statement released to us, the San Antonio airport said that, quote, while we are grateful that the San Antonio International Airport is not among the airports identified by the Federal Aviation Administration, it is possible that travelers may be impacted by reductions in service at other airports. Right now, if you head over to KSAT.com, we've got a list of the full 40 airports that are going to be affected by some of these. In the meantime, one of the best things you can do is check in with your individual airline, whether that's on one of their apps like United or Southwest, just to make sure the status of your flight is okay and find out what airports you will be connecting with if you don't have a direct flight. For now, live at the San Antonio International Airport, I'm Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you very much, Devin. Well, this morning, a 60-year-old man fighting for his life after a car hit him on the street. This happening about 10 hours or so ago, happening just before 8 p.m. at Kitty Hawk and Crestway Roads. That's on the northeast side near Converse. Now, Bexar County officials believe that the man was crossing the street on a crosswalk when a car struck him and then fled from the crash. He was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The sheriff's office is asking any witnesses to come forward, and we will continue to update you on this story on air and online.
Today is a 30-day deadline for cities and counties across Texas to remove artwork from crosswalks. That includes the Rainbow Crosswalk right here in the city, San Antonio Pride District. The order came from the U.S. Department of Transportation back in July. Then in October, Governor Greg Abbott enforced that order, threatening to pull TxDOT funding from cities that don't remove paintings from their crosswalks. Now, the city of San Antonio requested an exemption earlier this week. Most council members don't want to see that crosswalk go, but some do want to comply with the state's order.
We should try to protect our Rainbow Crosswalk because, again, it has been decades long of people's blood, sweat, and tears, and we should respect their efforts.
We want to include everybody that wants to be a good citizen here in San Antonio. We welcome them to our city. But in terms of whether or not you need to express yourselves with a crosswalk, if it's causing a public safety risk, again, we need to do away with it, comply with what the governor has asked.
Okay, so now it's a waiting game to see if the exemption will be granted based on how safe the crosswalk already is. Now, if the exemption is not granted, it is unclear how the city will pay to remove the paint on this crosswalk.
5:36 this Friday morning, charges have been lowered for two teens linked to the death of a San Antonio student. We've been following this story closely. 14-year-old Simon Cuevas was shot and killed back in April near Brewer Academy after being chased and attacked by a group. Fernando Flores and Andrew Cantu had their charges reduced from capital murder to injury to a child with bodily harm. The change comes after two other teens in the case also had their charges lowered from capital murder to assault causing bodily injury. So this means right now that nobody in this case is facing a murder charge at the moment. There was a fifth suspect, but he shot himself and died back in August.
Okay, the city calls it a routine flood. That happened once every 25 years, but in June, that flood took 13 lives. That's according to a new report from an engineering firm hired by the city of San Antonio. Now, KSAT is uncovering new details about that deadly flooding along Beidle Creek. And most of the bodies were found near Perrin Beidle, where floodwaters ran about 4 feet deep over parts of the 410 access road. The report says the road was built low enough to flood, and thick vegetation slowed the water, making it worse. It recommends warning signs, flood gauges, and flashing lights to keep drivers safe, plus better emergency response and more sensors to spot flood early. City leaders say they need state and federal help to pay for those projects and are working with property owners to clear some of the vegetation. Read the full report right now. Just head to our website, ksat.com.
Outside with live cam, it's 5:38, 63 degrees. Like yesterday, we're not seeing much fog here around San Antonio, but we are starting to see some creep in around our southeastern counties. We'll continue to watch the visibility and get you set for what will be a very busy weekend weather-wise coming up.
I've always wanted to be a mascot for a team.
All right, there you go. Look at Adam Caskey. Well, he leads our weather team here at KSAT 12, and he says that God brought him here to San Antonio. You see Ernie's candid conversation with Adam. We're going to talk about this coming up on Pickup Lines.
A local foster shelter is on the brink of closure without help. True Light Village needs $50,000 to stay open. We're going to tell you how many kids could be without a home for a second time if they don't get enough help.
So the northeast side still has some major construction slowing on 35 southbound near Weidner Road. So we're using alternate routes this morning. Coming up, more traffic updates after the break.
5:45, welcome back. Well, a local shelter for our foster kids is facing closure. True Light Village, located on 10 acres near Seguin, provides a safe haven for kids with nowhere else to turn. Currently, 28 children are calling it home, but the director says that they are running low on funds and need about $50,000 to keep operating. Rising costs and fewer donations have put the shelter in a tough spot.
They already couldn't find a home, or else they wouldn't be here. So it's hard to get to the point of having to make those choices because these kids so desperately need people to say yes to them.
Well, True Light posted a plea for help online, and so far just under $4,000 has been donated. For more information, you can scan the QR code on your screen or search True Light Village on KSAT.com.
This week on Pickup Lines, a candid conversation with KSAT's own Adam Caskey, the longtime chief meteorologist, hails from Minnesota and grew up playing ice hockey in the backyard, but he doesn't miss those frigid temperatures there. Adam came to KSAT in 2014 and quickly became a hit with viewers with his personality and his handmade thermometers. His passion for weather dates back to his childhood when he was a young boy in Minnesota.
The superstorm of 1987 in Minneapolis. And it was just one of those big, severe thunderstorm, tornado outbreaks, and it just hooked me. I didn't want to be in our basement watching the coverage. I wanted to go outside. I wanted to go see it happening. I wanted to see what was going on.
You were a kid?
Yeah, I was 6 years old then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, in this episode, Adam also talks about meeting his wife on a kickball field years ago and talks about getting emotional during the recent 4th of July flooding in the Hill Country. The latest episode of Pickup Line premieres at 5:30 and replays at 7:30 this evening on the free KSAT Plus app, or you can watch it right now on KSAT.com. Just search Pickup Lines.
Okay.
He's like a big kid. I love hanging out with him.
He's going to talk about the
It's a lot of fun.
Roan, Cannon, the Caskey Roan.
You're fun too.
Well, Adam's a whole new level, and he's been trying to get me to ice fish for a long, long time. He's a big ice fisherman.
Yes.
I just don't know if I'm ready for that kind of cold. He's completely comfortable with negative numbers. I don't know that I am.
And we don't have to worry about that kind of
We
cold.
do not. We do not. In fact, it is going to get chilly on Sunday, but nowhere near that. Let's break down your weekend for you. 88 degrees tomorrow. That's going to be another day where we're near record heat, sunny skies. 59 at 7 o'clock, 83 noontime, 88 will be your high. On Sunday, we start off at 56. But we don't really warm that much. 65 noontime, 67 at 4 o'clock. It will be very windy. So again, I know we've talked about it a lot, but it is worth mentioning again that Saturday and Sunday will be very, very different days. All right, let's talk dew points now. We get that front through. Dew points really fall off a ledge. And when I tell you it will be very dry Sunday into Monday, I mean, dew points could be in the single digits. That's about as dry as it gets around here. That's where you start, if you touch something, you get static electricity just because it is so dry. But we get the gusty winds on Sunday, and you pair that with the very dry air that'll be moving in. And the fire danger is going to be significant on Sunday because we're expecting wind gusts 40 to 45 during the morning hours. And on Monday, with this cold air, this is the departure from average. So this is how cold we will be below our average temperature. And we're going to be running about 5 to 6 degrees below average, which is not that dramatic. The really cold stuff is going to be up across parts of the Great Lakes and the Midwest. But this cold air mass is going to sink all the way down to the Gulf, and it will cool down many places here in the country. Monday morning lows, these numbers are going to be very important. We're expecting to get down to 37 Monday morning, but I do think there will be some spots in the hill country that will be on the verge of freezing. We've already seen this. We've already seen a couple spots get down to freezing, but I think that happens again Monday morning and probably again on Tuesday morning. So just please take note of that. I don't think we'll have freezing temperatures here in San Antonio on Monday or Tuesday morning, but it will be close. And some outlying areas certainly could have that razor-thin margin. Temperatures right now sitting at 63 in San Antonio, 63 Converse, 57 in Stinson. So if you're walking out the door, it's not that bad outside. It really, you may want a light jacket, but you won't need it for very long. 73 at 10 o'clock, 83 noontime, and that record warmth today with a high of 89. Pretty impressive. Very quickly, I didn't want to touch on Lost Maples. We got an update yesterday. Look at the colors. It's amazing what a cold front can do for these trees. So they're starting to see good color across the park, and they're saying that the peak will be within the next 2 weeks. So make sure you make your reservations. The weekends fill up fast, but it is beautiful out there if you want to go check it out. All right, extended forecast. 67 Sunday, we discussed that. Monday, our coolest day, 63. But then we rebound. Veterans Day, we're back in the 70s. And by the middle part of next week, 80s back in the forecast. All right, our Just Ask Justin question this morning is for all of our big Spurs fans. You probably know this answer, but what is the most wins San Antonio has ever seen in a regular season? Is it 57, 63, 67, or 72? Most people are saying the Spurs were really good there for a while because they had a lot of wins. Weigh in, ksat.com/polls, scan the QR code. That answer heads your way in about 1 hour.
All right. Thanks so much, Justin.
All right, yes, and our San Antonio Spurs are back home tonight at the Frostbank Center as they begin NBA Cup play, taking on the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant, the Houston Rockets, so should be a good one out there at the Frost on the east side of town. Let's give you an update on the traffic situation. It's going to start right here, downtown area, 10 at Frio Street, still dealing with construction issues right here, but traffic is moving along. We're looking at just a short delay, maybe about a 5 to 10 minute delay. You see the traffic making its way through I-10 East, so we will continue to track the very latest out there when it comes to the traffic in the downtown area. Let's take a quick look at the northeast side. Things starting to get a little bit busy here. Stop and go traffic, especially in the southbound lanes of 35 over by Weidner Road. And again, this is going to be stretching basically now from Topperwine all the way down Randolph Boulevard as we get parts past Wurzbach Parkway and also get to Thousand Oaks and parts of O'Connor as well. And we are starting to see some backup there at 410 and 35. Also, this delay right now is about a 20 to 25 minute backup. You see that we have got basically stop and go traffic on 35 South right there at Weidner Road. So we'll continue to keep an eye on everything going on across the city of San Antonio. Of course, we got Worst Fest starting up later on this afternoon. We got a lot of different things taking place across the city. So cannot wait, but we want to make sure that everyone makes it out the door safely today.
All right, time right now is 5:52, 63 degrees out there.
Okay, good morning, San Antonio. At 5 o'clock, we'll be right back.
All right, San Antonio, our neighbors need our help. On Monday, November the 10th, KSAT Community, the Texas Eats team, and our partners, RBFCU and University Health, are teaming up with the San Antonio Food Bank and Meals on Wheels SA for one powerful day of giving. That's right. From 9 o'clock in the morning to 7 in the evening, we're collecting food and resources to help local families impacted by the government shutdown and the SNAP suspensions. That donation drive happening at the Pinstack location off of Loop 410 near North Star Mall. Drop-offs begin at 9 o'clock in the morning, but you can also bring donations as early as 7 a.m. and pet food is also encouraged. Anyone who donates will also receive a $5 game card from Pinstack. We hope you can help. All right, I know that David Alder is going to be out there and he's going to make it a lot of fun. He is a lot of fun. So it's going to be a lot of fun for a good cause. Okay. Okay, coming up in just a little bit, Worst Fest. We've been talking about this kicking off this weekend in New Braunfels. Still ahead on Good Morning San Antonio at 6. Our Stephanie Serna breaking down what you need to know if you're looking to save some money at Worst Fest. All of us are.